Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's me, your boy Rahim Brazil, again with another Grind Time TV exclusive look. I have the pleasure of sitting with two phenomenal individuals. I'm right here inside their home, so I get an up close and personal look and conversation. But before we get into that, I want to make sure that you guys are subscribed to this channel. Make sure you subscribe below, and also make sure you hit that notification bell to get all the updates of all the content that we got coming to your screens. But look, let's jump into it. I got Juan and Gee coming up next for you. What's going on, everybody? Once again, Rahim Brazil. Look, I'm sitting with the founders, the creators, the authors of many things. Love Works, the Gentleman's Foundation. You guys are doing such amazing things in and around the community. And before we really dive into this interview, I want to say thank you.
Thank you.
You know, if no one has ever told you thank you, I want to say thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, that's what I say. You're welcome. Thank you for taking the time to acknowledge that. We
Yeah,
appreciate
and
that.
also thank you for allowing us to come and get this exclusive. But before we start, I want you all to tell everybody a little bit about yourselves, just in case they do not know.
So we are co-founders of the Gentleman's Foundation. The Gentleman's Foundation is a nonprofit organization that is dedicated to the holistic health of Black men in our community, simply put. And so we have a mentoring program, we have a scholarship program, and we also have a mental health program, which is most important, actually.
Yeah.
And we also do an annual gala called the Gentleman's Ball, which is taking place this weekend.
Yes, we're also husbands.
Yeah.
We actually celebrate our 9th wedding anniversary on October 23rd.
Coming up.
So yeah, that's huge. We've been together over a decade. So we're life and relationship coaches. We have it's no longer. Love Works is our web show that we used to do, but we have some other things, boiling around, podcasts, things of that nature. Gee's finishing up his memoir, which is phenomenal. I can't wait for everybody to read that. So yeah, we dibble and dabble.
You guys have so many moving parts. How do you keep things together?
Sometimes they're not together.
Right.
It's just life. I mean, it's always gonna be something to. There's always gonna be challenges on whatever you do. So regardless if we're doing 10 things, or we're doing one thing together, or we're doing nothing together, we're always gonna be presented with challenges. So I don't ever really know how to answer that question by just day by day. You know what I'm saying? Just living through life and living with good intention and making mistakes and turning in one direction and going the other direction, but we just figuring it out every day.
Yeah, it's like I've always said, if you want to do something, just do it. And that's just been kind of like a motto, if you will. And so Gee, he's a visionary. I'm a planner. I'm a visionary. We have ideas. We say, let's just do it. And then we just start. And so we look up and say, now you got 10 damn things you're doing, and where's the time? But you just find the time.
And you find the time to get it done. That is remarkable because I've always considered myself to be the same type of way. Because I know I'm a big procrastinator. So
me too.
I'm the type of person like, okay, if I have the idea, let's do it. Because I don't want to sit on it. I don't want it to go, I feel like ideas and visions are, energy. So I feel like it could be passed to the next person. So I'm like, well, I got to do this because if I don't, it's going to go to somebody else.
Yeah, sometimes though, like, I have to check myself because I can get overwhelmed. And when I get overwhelmed, I start to get anxious and then I just don't do shit. So, it's a balance.
Yeah.
And also, like, because we're business partners as well, he'll have an idea and I'll immediately go into planning mode. And I'm like, we haven't even agreed to even do this. Why am I going there? Why am I overwhelming myself for no reason? So it's a balance. It's
It's a balance.
And we, it's something about, because we have new ideas every day. And I think what I found one of our probably biggest challenges is trying to do too much at one time and not just putting all the energy into one project, making it great and letting it be, let it ride, and then start a new project, making it. But we get so excited about things, and sometimes we can try to do too much at one time. So I think we're getting to a point after 10 years.
Right.
We're getting to a point where we don't have to do everything. You know what I mean? Maybe it should be done to give into another person. You can't do it all. You know what I'm saying? So it's good to just try to make that one thing great, and then go on to the next thing, make it great, and that way it can sustain itself. Versus trying to build all of these things at one time. Yeah.
That's good. That's some great advice. Let's jump back a little bit. Okay.
How far?
Well, 10 years, who can compete with that? But no, let's just jump back before all of these things came into fruition, when it was just you two.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It was just you two. What were some of the challenges with trying to keep this thing unified?
I feel like the challenges probably came after because we met, we were together every day. We moved in after 3 to 4 months, and we were married after about a year, a little over a year. So things happened really quickly, and it was like once we got married, and we didn't know anything was gonna happen. We just became this kind of brand, if you will. Like people just started to know us because there wasn't many people that were married, especially black men married to each other back then. So we became this, y'all married? Y'all legally married? Where y'all gonna get married? So it became a whole thing.
It wasn't even legalized.
No, it wasn't legalized. It was one of 4. We went to one of 4 states, which was Connecticut at the time, and we went there for the weekend and got married. Now you'll find the full story in my book. So it comes out top of January 2019. Okay. But we went to get married, and it was like shortly after we got married, we started doing business together. And so I would say in the beginning, I honestly feel like Juan and I had a long ride of honeymoon where we didn't have a lot of issues. We really didn't. We just, it was, we have our little things, you know what I mean? But we didn't have a lot of issues to get through until after the business. And so I would say, what was your question, guys?
Like, how do we keep it together? And I was going to say the same thing. Like in the beginning, like even for the first few years, even maybe 4 years, like it was no conflict really, nothing life-changing or anything like that. It, as he said, most of our conflicts came through the business.
Yeah. Still to this day, we still figuring it out,
we have 2 totally different styles.
Yeah.
If we weren't together, I don't know that we would get along if we just worked at a company. Like sending him nasty emails and all of that stuff. So it was just kind of like working around those different types of management styles and partnership styles, kind of creating boundaries. Creating clear-cut roles is what we really had to end up doing, which is kind of what we're going through right now.
Right.
And just carving out our individuality. Because for so long, it's Juan and Gee, Juan and Gee, Juan and Gee, Juan and Gee, Juan and Gee. We started to operate like that, and it's like kind of to our detriment a bit. Yeah.
But I know you want to get some personal relationship problems, so we're going to stop talking about the business. So as he was talking, I was just thinking about, because obviously we faced a lot of challenges in our relationship. Yeah. And I think that one thing that keeps us unified, because that was the question. And I didn't give a very good answer before, but this is a great answer. What keeps us unified is that we know that we were brought together for our own personal growth. Right? So we were brought together for our own personal growth. We are reflections of each other. He is showing me things in myself that I need to grow and get beyond, and the same thing with him. So when we do have our challenges, we do have our arguments, we know that those arguments and those challenges are there to teach us about ourselves. Right. And so we get emotional and mad at each other, but once we get through the emotion, we can now sit back and say, now what is this situation all about? Why is this bothering me so much? Whatever the case may be, and work through that so it never feels like the end of the relationship. It's just, and it's almost, and sometimes when we're going through really, really challenging times, because we go to therapy too. We've been doing that for 8 years, so that keeps us together. That is great. We go to couples therapy, been doing it for 8 years. When we get through real strong, like we have these, and I like to call them moments of periods of disconnection. periods of disconnection where we're not fully connected to each other in the relationship. And normally when you're not typically connected to each other, then that's going to surface as arguments and challenges, and I don't want to be around him, whatever the case may be. And so when we go through those long periods, like sometimes we go see our therapist and we typically learn these big things about each other, about ourselves, that you almost get to the point when those times do happen, I almost get excited about what am I going to learn about myself next and how much stronger this is going to bring us afterwards. So I think that's what keeps us united.
Yeah, you really like that.
It's crazy because like when we get asked questions like that, and I try to think like, has it been hard or has it been like, yeah, you have your problems and your issues or everything, but when I'm listening to what you said, it's almost as if once we get through those periods of disconnection or we have that epiphany or the revelations of self, the whole argument just goes out of my head or whatever challenge it was, so that like it's not even top of mind. So I have to kind of fish and dig and like, well, how do we blah, 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 because it doesn't seem like or feel like we have to do it that often, even though we do.
Yeah.
You know, it just seems, and also another thing is I think we continuously choose each other. I believe that tomorrow he can wake up and not want to be with me anymore. Same thing for me. Right now I can get up and walk out and never come back. That's my choice. And so as long as we're continuously choosing to stay with each other and be committed to each other, to me, that's all the unity that you need.
I absolutely love that. You know, you guys have something very special, and you know, you can tell that you're passionate about it. Even just sitting here talking.
Thank you.
You can tell that you're passionate about it. You ran a successful webisode, I want to call it, Love Works, and you guys, you know, a kind of like, you know, a blueprint in the community for love and relationships and trying to make it all work. And I know you do your classes and, you know, you try to really help other couples, you know, make love work. Because that's what it's really about.
It really is.
So with Love Works, the phenomenal thing I loved about it is how you guys play off of each other. And you know, and you tell of your experience, and you're using your experience as a means of helping other people and helping them get, you know, their healing for whatever situations they face. What was something that really gave you guys the courage to kind of put your experience out there for other people to kind of, you know, work from?
Well, you know, I have been I'm a lot less private than Juan is. Juan is probably the more private one in the relationship, I would say. But I've always been like an open book, if you will, of things that I want to share. Obviously, we all have things that, you know, sometimes we don't want to share, and there's been things that I share now that I didn't always want to share. But I've always just been kind of an open book type of person. Like, so I don't feel any. I don't feel like I need any. Don't ever feel like I need any courage to do it. You know what I'm saying? I guess I'm comfortable and secure with whatever I'm telling, and especially when it comes to our relationship. Like, I'm not going to share anything about our relationship that it might be just a little insecure for me if I'm not willing to share that and be vulnerable. But anything that I share, I don't really feel like I need courage for, because I tell people a lot of stuff. Like, like when you read the book, like I tell a lot of stuff. And I also believe that
he does
releasing stuff. If you release and tell stuff, then people have nothing to hold against you. Like, people only try to hold things against you that you're afraid to say. No, I'm giving you everything. So what really do you have to say about it? I always say, as long as my husband is comfortable with it, you know.
What about
it's fine,
So for me, I am a bit more guarded. When it comes to information. I always have been. We all know those childhood issues, right? But so I find the courage because I know our relationship is purposeful. I know that many people look up to us, and so I almost feel like it's a duty to expose as much as I can, to share our experiences so that other people can learn from it. I mean, just going on social media and listening to people talk, like people are just very hopeless. And so if I can provide a smidget of hope for someone that love is possible, relationships are possible, that I want to do that.
Right.
Because we don't have those examples.
Exactly.
Like I didn't have that. Like we're kind of making this up as we go along, you know, and just figuring out what works for us. And so if we can save some people, you know, that time.
Right.
Yeah. And it's important. I know it's always important for me too, because I think a lot of people, you know, see what they call this power couple on social media, whatever the case may be. And to me, that is, I like to show the non-social media version of it. You know what I mean? Like this is some real shit. It ain't easy. You know, we've been through everything in relationships that everybody has ever been through in a relationship, but we didn't run away from it. Yeah. We just worked through it.
But you know, it's so interesting is that because when we do tell the nitty gritty and the down and dirty, people don't believe it. Like, or they don't want to accept it. You know, they choose to just look at the pretty stuff and all of that. And we're like, well, no, but look, this happened and blah, 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 and this is how we got through it and et cetera, et cetera. And people still just like, oh, well, y'all just Juan and Gee anyway, so y'all are great anyway. And even Mama even does that. Like, I'll go to her if he pissed me off or something, and she's just like, y'all will get over it. I'm just like, can I get some real advice or something? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, can I?
Like you just want to vent this moment.
Yeah, so it's just interesting in that way, but yeah.
Okay, that's great. The great thing about that is you are building yourselves up professionally and personally with people, and people feel like that they can come to you and trust you, which is so, you know, is a great thing.
It's a gift.
It is a gift. It's a blessing.
Yes, because, you know, people don't want to put their relationships out there and things like that. People like to, you know, like you guard it and you know, this is my relationship. I don't want anybody in it and things like that. So have there been any magical moments about your episodes that you can recall?
Magical
moments.
Like the most memorable ones for you.
I don't want to talk about that one.
That's a private thing.
Well, it's a long story.
I think that one of my favorite episodes was the first singles episode we did.
Okay.
Actually, both of them were really good. But I love talking to single people. I love talking to people in relationships too, but I love talking to single people, especially younger single people too. So that was one of my favorite episodes, and it's always interesting to hear people say why they're single, because it was called Why Am I Single, I think. So it's always interesting to get perspectives from singles on why they're single. And it always typically goes because somebody ain't doing something right. And, you know, somebody ain't doing something right except them. So that was probably my most favorite episode, I think.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know that there's like one magical moment that sticks out. But I do, because when we first started Love Works, we used to go into people's homes just like this, couples, and interview couples and find out about their day-to-day life. So I really, really enjoyed that, just meeting the different couples, and seeing the different dynamics, getting them to open up about things that they may have never even shared with their partner. I know there's been a few moments where people are like, so nervous, but when they get in front of us, they just open up and they start to pour their hearts out, and they kind of achieve a new level of connection with each other. So that's pretty special to me.
Okay. Yeah. Let's talk about the intentions. The intentions of all that you have going on. What are your intentions?
For the work?
For the work.
So my intention is to sorry, I guess I got distracted with just a minute. My intention is to teach people how to just be self-aware. I think that is just the purpose in life, is just become more and more self-aware. So my purpose in everything we do is to help people become more self-aware, because self-awareness leads to compassion and understanding for yourself, which leads to self-love. And so at the end of the day, that's the purpose.
Self-awareness. Self-love. We can use a lot more.
Yeah, and and everything we do is rooted in love. And so when we say love works, we're not talking about relationships. You know, love is everything.
Everything is
everything is
Beyonce
love.
and Jay-Z, everything is love.
Everything is love, and so love works. And at the end of the day, like I said, you remain to be passionate about being self-aware. You can't help but to love yourself.
Okay.
Yeah.
So right now, what we're going to do is take a quick break. We're going to insert a clip right here. All right, break.
Hello to all you lovers out there.
Hola.
Welcome to another episode of Love Works with Juan and Gee, where today we are sitting down with the I generation.
Yes, yes. Today we are sitting down with the I generation, and we get their perspective on love, dating, sex, prep, HIV, open relationships, you name it. No subject was off the table. All sponsored by Positive Impact.
Life, all that stuff. I still think that there might be a little bit of knowledge that we might be able to offer you guys, as well as you being to offer us.
During that coming out moment of the explorative phase, was you exploring your identity? Were you mirroring some sort of, fantasy or archetype that was already out there?
What's the tea? It ain't no tea.
We spoke to G about his intentions, so let's get your intentions. What are your exact intentions for the work that you do?
So my intentions, number one, is to enjoy it. That's first and foremost. Like I'm at a place in my life where I don't want to do anything that I don't enjoy. And so if I have to find the enjoyment, if I have to dig a little deeper, I'll do that. If it's something like a project that I'm working on that I don't really like, I'll find ways to enjoy it. So that's number one. But particularly when it comes to the interaction with the public and the life coaching perspective, my intention is to really get people to reframe how they see themselves and to reframe how they define certain aspects of life. I found that we kind of have a negative framing of most things, and it doesn't have to be. So that's my primary intention with the work and the projects and stuff that we do, to just present a different perspective.
Right. Do you feel like that the negative way of thinking stems from the negative influence that we've been impacted by and the negative situations that we have been impacted by?
I think the negative point of view is just the easiest. It's easy to be the victim. It's easy to find the bad. It's kind of difficult to find the good and stuff. So I think we all experience childhood trauma. We all, have that ego that protects us until we don't need protecting anymore. So I think it's just like almost a default for most people. It's just to see the glass half empty. But we can learn to see it half full. So.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting question about what you said about where the negativity come from. And I think a part of that comes from us just not being loved for who we are, for one. Just being black men, black boys loving black boys, black men loving black men. And so you already have a layer of self-hate when it comes to being a black person that's deeply rooted for years and years and years and years and years that we have to realize. And then when you live in shame for so long, and so most of us as people in the community live in shame for so long, hiding who we are, hiding who we are, hiding who we are. That's negative self-talk. That's negative energy. And I believe we're so used to, being ashamed of ourselves that we project that onto everything.
And sometimes we don't even know.
No, we don't. That's the thing.
And it's totally unconscious most of the time. So the self-awareness to saying like, God damn it, because I did it for years. And now I catch myself and I be like, why are you going off on yourself in your head? Or why are you judging yourself so negatively? And it's just a constant loop, and I have to literally out loud say, stop, I don't think we realize that we even do it, and how much anxiety and tension that builds up in your body over the course of the day.
Because we don't do enough self-reflection.
Yeah.
And you know, when you start to do those self-reflection, you'll start to catch yourself like, why am I feeling this way, and why am I projecting all of this anxiety on myself, and I'm always putting myself in the space of expecting the worst.
Right.
I'm always expecting the worst.
You don't want to just, and then you almost go to prove yourself right by making the worst happen.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, see, I knew it was gonna happen. I knew it was gonna happen.
And we want to get that validation to say I knew it was going to happen because we're just so familiar with that negative experience. That is awesome. Let's jump ship real quick and talk about this Gentlemen's Foundation because you have the annual Gentlemen's Ball.
The 7th annual this weekend.
Just okay. This ball, I have never been.
Shame on you.
Shame. Well, you know, I haven't been in Atlanta so long, and then when I did, I learned about it last year actually.
Yeah.
You know, because I don't even know many people here.
Well, you know, I mean, there's a lot of people know about it, but a lot of people still don't. So there's a lot of people who's looking right now who don't know about it either. So you know.
The ball experience. How did you come up with this idea?
So it originated because we wanted to do a second chance prom. I feel like I tell the story so much. I always feel like a broken record. So
let me start it off there because you are. G had an idea to do a second chance prom because 9 times out of 10. If you were gay or same gender loving in high school, you went with the girl, you didn't have that experience that you could have, the total experience. So we had started G-Spot Productions, an event production company, and that was going to be our first event. And so just during the planning of it, brainstorming names and concepts and things of that nature, the Gentlemen's Ball was born. And then we attached a nonprofit to it to give back. We wanted to party with a purpose. Right. And that first year, 2011, it was on 11/11/11. Like, wow. It was pretty amazing. Yeah. Like it was just an amazing experience. Like the energy in the room was just magnetic. It was unlike anything we've experienced in our community. I would be so bold to say that.
Yeah, it's not, and it was not planned. Like it's so crazy. We didn't realize it was not. So we planned to do the prom. That's what it was gonna be. It was gonna be the prom, tuxedos, blah blah blah. And then of course we party with the purpose, like he said. But it was like afterwards. And when we called the Gentlemen's Ball, it became about the purpose was the prom because now we're out of the closet. We're part of ourselves. We're not on the DL anymore. We're not the stereotypical thing you see on TV, whatever the case may be. So it's our chance to show pictures, blah, blah, blah. But after the fact, it was like we had created this thing. It wasn't even an award show.
Yeah.
We had created this thing. And then the next year, it was actually Juan's idea for the second one. I said, let's honor one gentleman that's doing a great thing and just honor them at the Gentlemen's Ball. And from there, it just grew into
every year it grows
a big award show, and then
it's a big award show.
By the 4th year, it grew into the foundation. So it really was so super organic on how it happened. And that's, I mean, so we know everything that we do is purposeful, and it really became, and it was really born out of the fact that we got married. You know what I'm saying? Because that became, we got married, we fell in love, and we wanted the second chance prom together. You know what I mean? And so if that hadn't happened, you know, who knows? You know, but. That's when he goes back to say he knows our relationship has a purpose. That is just so true. Yeah, it's so true. So,
and it was like after that first ball, like the community was just like it was infectious. Like everybody was just like on a high. Everybody wanted more. Everybody wanted more. Everybody was talking about it.
Like when's the next one? We weren't planning to have another one.
Right, we weren't. It wasn't
like we just wanted to do this.
Right. And so it's just that, like we were saying earlier, you just had an idea. Let's just do it. And here we are 7 years into it.
It's been a rough road now. That's because this is actually supposed to be our 8th annual Gentlemen's Ball, but it's our 7th because one year we just could not afford it. Like it took us 5 years to get out of the red in producing the event. So a lot of people don't know that. And so that was actually supposed to be the 8th year. So it's been very challenging, but just rewarding at the same time.
But 7 years is so phenomenal, though.
Yeah, it is. It definitely is. Yeah.
And to see how you guys have grown and how many awards are you giving away this year?
14.
It's a lot of people.
14. So it grew. Last year it grew into celebrating women in the community as well, and so that doubled our awards.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're giving away 14 awards to some phenomenal people in the community and allies. It's something feel so great to be able to do and to have this platform where people value it so much. Because when you start, it's crazy. When you start giving out awards, it's crazy. But people value
People like awards.
Value the gentleman's the awards so much, and that means a ton.
Yeah.
That means a ton.
Yeah, because not a lot of us are getting recognized.
Yeah.
And that's one of the primary purposes of the Gentleman's Ball is to celebrate us. Because if we don't do it, who will?
Exactly.
Everybody talks about how Oscar's so white and the Grammy Awards, they don't recognize us, and the Emmys, this, and the
Or
other.
the GLAAD or HRC or all of those things.
Right.
We don't. So this is ours, and we don't need to step outside of us for validation. We right here. We right here. It's called the Gentleman's Ball. We don't need to do it. And it's I'm not just saying this because we created it, but it is an amazing. It really is an amazing experience when you walk into the ballroom and be able to be celebrated in that way. We're used to having to go to, like I said, out of the community to go to certain types of events, and we don't have to do that. Ours is better.
Right.
Ours is better, and it's full of us. So come.
Well, tell me something that has made you guys. What do you think has made you so successful in keeping all of this up?
Good intention.
You took it right out of my mouth. Like, I swear to God, that was the first thing that I was going to. And it's true. Like, good intentions. Like, I think, not to toot our own horn or anything like that, but we are two of the most positive people you're going to meet. Yeah. We're fair, and we treat everybody as if they are the president. No matter who you are, no matter what you do, I treat everybody the same. And it's rooted in love because, we're all the same, so I think that's why.
Yeah.
I think that's why people are so comfortable around us. That's why people seek us out for advice or things like that because of those intentions.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, well, let's kind of wrap this thing up.
Okay.
What should we expect from you? I know you have your memoirs. Do you want to give us a little bit about that?
So yeah, the memoir it started out as a joint book about our relationship between the both of us.
Okay.
And so as we were writing, we were giving a little backstory, but the backstory just became this. It grew into this thing again. It was not planned. It really just grew into this thing. So the memoir basically takes you from when I was born up until my 40th birthday. Okay. I'm 41 now, and from my experience, I have a white mother, and so it's about my experience trying to identify myself, my sexual identity as well as my racial identity. Right. And so being between, black, white, and men, women, and finding myself and loving myself through that. And so you just go through my whole journey, and I tell all. So
I love that. Have you got the?
He's reading another version of it now.
I've read the first version.
Another version of it.
It's been a long time. It's been a process.
Yeah. So I've read the first version, and I'm partway through the second version.
Okay.
I'm saying it's when I read the first version, I was on the plane and I'm just crying.
You're crying?
On the plane, and I'm just like, oh my God, this is so good. Like, and I'm not just saying that because this is my husband and I know the backstory of what he's telling in the book. It really, you know how he said he tells it all? Yeah. He does, but it's in such a meaningful way. Such a meaning and purposeful way. So,
the first version he read actually stopped on our wedding day. It ended on our wedding day, but then I turned it over to the editor, and he's like, no, you have to write more about the relationship. And so then the second half, which he hasn't read yet, is about our relationship. And so I'm going to see if he still has those same sentiments once you get to the second half, because then I start telling a lot of details about us and the things that we go through.
So we'll see if we can take some of
that.
Then
we'll see how much makes the final verse.
Because, when people start to read about themselves. That's going to be pretty intense.
That's what's up with. That's what's on my mind next. Oh, yeah, it's the book after this ball is full steam ahead, yeah.
I'm fascinated with race and how people identify racially, particularly as Black people. Okay. So I'm currently producing a podcast called Crossroads. I think I'm gonna change the name though, because as I'm interviewing, so I go into the homes of people and we talk for about 2 hours about a particular intersection that they sit in as a Black person. So addiction, bipolar disorder, caretaking of a parent, just different things. Right. And as I'm just doing these interviews, I'm just floored by the stories of these people. Right, right. Like, it's just so amazing. I think it's important for us to get to know each other in an intimate way like that. And so these will be just archived conversations and documents on the Gentleman's Foundation website. And just exploring, like, what does being Black mean to you? Yeah. You know? Yeah. So that's what's next for me. That should be out. It should be out first quarter of next year. Okay. It's a lot more work than I anticipated.
So make sure y'all stay tuned for the memoirs and the podcast. We're gonna be keeping up with that. That's totally awesome. Any more information that you guys want to give for maybe the Gentleman's Ball or anything like that?
Yes, you guys can follow the Gentleman's Foundation at the Gentleman's Foundation, and that's gentleman with the E, not an A. Website is gentleman'sfoundation.org, and you can follow both of us as at Juan and Gee, JuanandGee, or juanandgee.com.
Awesome. Yeah. Now you heard it here right on Grind Time TV. Look, they're grinding. So make sure you get your grind up because it's time to get moving. It is not a show, it's a movement, and we want to bring awareness to you. So make sure you follow us and check me out on at Rahim Brazil online on Instagram. I'm there. Also, make sure you follow grindtime_TV. We got more news, we got more people, more awareness, more interviews. We want to do this thing for the 2018-2019 situation. So y'all make sure y'all stay tuned and go subscribe. Stop playing with me. This thing done. Go subscribe. You might as well do it. You're already here. All right, later.